Hello, got crazy hair right now. I'm looking at myself going, oh my lord. Today is wrap up day number 2 of wrapping up book number 1. And so I'm glad you're here. Let me go post our link over on the website. Website is jollyrogerukulele.com. And from there we are playing the hits today. Everything that we learned in level 1 over the last few weeks. And just doing a final review, just make sure everybody feels comfy with what they did, and then we will be moving all y'all into book 2 starting next week. And book 2 is really designed just to keep you playing, keep your get your skill level up to where I would like to have it for you, and continue to help you get prepared for ensemble play. Edit settings, open a new window, update, and update. Alright, so there's that. We should be in good shape. I'll turn off the gadget here for a bit. Guys, we're going to be working out of this book today, so if you have printed it out or can pull it up on the website, it was lesson number, what is it, lesson number, I don't remember what lesson number it was. Look. Page, it's going to be lesson number 9. This is off of lesson number 9, so if you don't have it right in front of you, just go over to the ukulele and baritone tab and pull up lesson number 9, and that will have it there. Post this over on Twitter real quick. https://jolly rogerukulele.com, jollyrogerukulele.com. Wait for that to pop up. Hit that. Ukulele. Double click. Alright, tweet. Alright, we have officially tweeted, so that means we are internationally famous. Back. Alright, so now I can close that window down and we should be good. Let's see here. Alright. Did I do everything right here? I did. Let me go make sure the link is working. Usually we have a couple people. Let's make sure I put it in the right spot. Thursday. Clink. And there it is. All right. So entirely possible nobody's coming today. That's fine. That's good. I'm okay with that. So I'll give myself the lesson. This little booklet here is way more important than you'd think, especially if you got a kid in your life who wants to play ukulele. A lot of times I get calls all the time from parents. They say, I want my kid to learn how to play ukulele, and they're 7, and I want to tell them, 7's too early for it's too early to be playing fretted instruments. On the other hand, I've had one 7-year-old girl who got way far done in tough uke. Little teeny tiny hands, little teeny tiny ukulele, playing full-blown arrangements, tough uke style. Things were going great, and then she decided she was bored with ukulele, so she moved in. Hey Q, welcome in. Q, we are playing from this booklet off of lesson 9 from the ukulele and baritone page. Hopefully you've got that printed out. This book is designed with, remember, to get you using all of these 4 chords. So first chord in there was the A chord, okay, and you had 2 choices, Frere Jacques or 3 Blind Mice. Let's play 3 Blind Mice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 blind mice, 3 blind mice. See how they run, see how they run. They all ran after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Have you ever seen such a sight in your life as 3 blind mice? So there's your A chord. Anything on this book that has a red headline is just a 1 chord song, and we use those songs to get comfy with the chord shapes, A, D, and E7, and then we use the rest of the book just to practice. Okay. Hey Michelle, welcome in. 70 degrees up in Rockaway Beach today. Sounds pretty good. So on page 2 of this little booklet, you get your D chord. You get the chance to teach people how to play D chord, index, middle, ring. Okay, remember this one? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat right across the lake. Don't stand up and rock the boat, oh that's a big mistake. Okay. So you practice with when you're teaching somebody brand new and all they want to do is strum, because everybody wants to strum when they first start. Grab this book. We've now taught them A chord. We've now taught them D chord. The other one, there's a Farmer in the Dell in there, which is fun with kids. Then of course E7. The nice part about these chords is they flow really nicely together. A is not terribly hard to make, D is not terribly hard to make, and D also tells you, if you're teaching a man and he's got giant hands and he's bought a soprano ukulele, which happens pretty regularly, there's no way he's going to pull off a D chord, right? And that's when you talk about, oh, you got the wrong size ukulele, let's get you a bigger one. And then from D chord, to get to E7, it's actually really convenient. You slide this one, index finger back, and your middle finger, ring finger down to the bottom string, and you get your E7. And my Lime in the Coconut, every time I've taught it to kids, it's a massive hit. Kids just adore it. So let's sing the whole song just so you remember how it goes. My brother bought a coconut, he bought it for a dime. My sister had another one and spent it on a lime. You put the lime in the coconut, shake it all up. You put the lime in the coconut, drink it all up. You put the lime in the coconut, then you'll perk on up. I called the doctor, woke him up, and here is what I said. And I always have the kids, and when I have a group of kids, I have them scream at the top of their lungs, Doctor! Doctor! Ain't there nothing I can take? I said, Doctor! To relieve this bellyache, I said, Doctor! Ain't there nothing I can take? You put the lime in the coconut, drink 'em both together. Put the lime in the coconut, then you feel much better. Put the lime in the coconut and call me in the... And then I always take a moment and say, oh, I forgot to teach you this. And that's when we do tremolo. Anytime in this book I put 2 stars, that's a tremolo song. Index finger, okay? Usually the easiest way to teach people the tremolo. Open palm, index finger down, like that. And then twist, as if you're shaking oil off the ends of your fingers, trying to get oil off. That's the best motion for tremolo. Don't let them, tell people don't use your elbow. That's not what you do with tremolo. It's more of a twisting motion. Call me in the morning. Okay, and then if you got a bunch of boys in the room, you teach them the Eddie Van Halen finish. They don't know who Eddie Van Halen is. To pull it up, have them hold their arms way up high, and then bring it down on your ukulele. Right? And the fun part is they'll all, the boys particularly, want to hit it really hard, and they'll end up wrapping their knuckles on the top of their fretboard. And it's your way of getting back at youth. Those songs I pretty much teach every single group out of this little booklet. I think those 3 initial songs, 3 Blind Mice, Row, Row, Row Your Boat, and Lime in a Coconut. If you got those 3 songs, now you can go into the rest of the book and actually do some cool stuff with. All of the 2-chord songs have green headlines. I usually, just out of habit, go to page 10 and do London bridges because I want them to be able to do A chord to E7 back to A. And so I think London Bridges gives you a chance to have A on for a while, then E7 on for a while, and then A on for a while, so you don't have to do a bunch of fast hand changes. So use that when you're teaching other people. Grab your A chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Now that's just with plucking. Then I might say, all right, now let's strum with our thumb. Build it up with silver and gold, silver and gold, silver and gold. Build it up with silver and gold, my fair lady. And then I say, all right. So if things are going well, then we switch strum patterns again. If things are going poorly, I usually just let things ride out, and you just never can tell. At the end, let's do the last version. And by the way, I did change it from take the key and lock her up, which at the time I was writing this book was a very controversial statement, and so I changed it to take the key and have some tea, which I felt was far more British anyway. And let's do thumb, index, middle, ring, and let's do it on strings 3, 2, and 1. So your C, E, and A strings. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Take the key and have some tea. Change. Have some tea. Have some tea. Take the key and have some tea, my fair lady. Okay, so isn't that pretty? When you get to the point where you're plucking arpeggios for everything, you're suddenly playing really well, and it's a really delightful discovery that you don't just have to go up and down, that you can always think of a smarter system. What everybody else is doing in the room, you don't do that. You do something different and create a depth of texture that they would have been missing without you. Evelyn's in. Hey Gary, hurricanes, really? Hurricanes. I guess I was aware you get hurricanes in Hawaii. I guess I was aware of that. Well, that's a bummer. You're in Hawaii. You're not supposed to have any. You're supposed to have perfect weather every day. That's probably my favorite 2-chord song. My favorite 3-chord song in here is On Top of Spaghetti, which is on page 12. And I like to, I always be super ridiculous about this, but I always think that On Top of Spaghetti, most people know it, and it gives everybody a chance to use A, D, and E7 every single verse. And again, you get a chance to play a chord for several strums before you have to change it. So let's do that. 1, 2. It's a three beat. I'm going to count 2 and we're going to go 1, 2. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese. And people will be in a hurry to play this, so take your time. I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. It rolled off the table and onto the floor, and then my poor meatball rolled right out the door. It rolled down the gutter and under a bush, and now my poor meatball is nothing but mush. The rains came and soaked it as wet as can be, and early next summer it grew to a tree. The tree was all covered with beautiful moss. It grew lovely meatballs, all covered in sauce. If you eat spaghetti, all covered in cheese, hang on to your meatball and don't ever sneeze. lots of different strumming ideas there. Again, when you're playing with other people, it's not important to play the song. Not important to play the song. It's important to play the technique. And so, especially when you're teaching other people to play, be thoughtful about, I got to teach them A, D, and E7. The fact that we're teaching them top of spaghetti doesn't matter. I had a couple of instructor trainees with me. It's already 2 years ago now. They're both great teachers. But both of them, when it came time for their final, were playing all of the songs at full speed. And I looked around the room and all the students were like, oh, that is too fast for me. And so always when you're teaching, dial those speeds back. It's perfectly fine to play every single thing slow, and your students honestly will appreciate it. The 4-chord one that I always do is Kookaburra, and those of you who are Girl Scouts remember Kookaburra. Nobody else knows Kookaburra, so it's again, all of these songs, we always think kids know these songs. They don't. They've been learning Disney, and so they don't know these songs, so you've got a fresh slate for you to get to teach them. Kookaburra, it's all 4 chords, and every single verse is the same, so it's actually pretty easy to kind of get in the groove, and it gives them a chance to get to practice their F sharp minor. Let's just do one verse. 1, 2, ready, play. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree. Merry, merry king of the bush is he. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh. Kookaburra, gay your life must be. Okay, so it's one of those songs where the first time you hear the first verse, you're like, oh, I got the idea. And then you got 4 more opportunities to get it right. And again, you're just asking people, probably play it even slower than that to give them a chance to get their chords on for the first time and just practice that up. That's the idea behind this book. For the most part, that's what I always teach out of this is all the, A 1-chord song in A song and chord in D chord, and then Lyman or Coconut always. And then I almost always teach London Bridges as the 2-chord song, and On Top of Spaghetti is a 3-chord song, and Kookaburra is a 4-chord song. Not unimportantly, those of you guys who have been with me a little while, this progression here is probably going to be the first song you write. Right, as A, F sharp, D, and E7. If you put that in front of you and you go A for 4 beats, 2, 3, 4, then F sharp minor for 4 beats, D chord, and then E7. Okay, let's go through them together. Ready, play. A, 2, 3, 4, F sharp minor, D, E7, back around. This is a song from 1950. It sounds like every song I heard back then. 1, 6 minor, and 4, 5, 7, and finish up on A. Okay, so when you're teaching songwriting, you start with a form like this. Do 4 beats of this chord, 4 beats of this, 4 beats of that, and then turn them loose with lyrics, right? You can do the same thing with C, A minor, F, and G7. This is the song that you learn in Hawaii when the hurricane's coming and you're gonna get wet. And so it always works. 1, 6, 4, 5. So when we're talking 1, 6, 4, 5, whatever chord is here, A, B, C, D, and E, and then F sharp minor is over here. If I put C here, C, D, E, F, G, and A minor over here. If I put D here, D, E, F, G, and A, and then B minor is over here. So that's G, B minor, C, and G, back to G. So that's how that works. That's that 1, 4, 5 thing that we talk about all of the time in these classes. All right, so that's what this book is for. Let's go grab Brahms' Lullaby. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. This is the one song that I get a lot of comments on from new players who are like, I'm working on Brahms' Lullaby. They see it as a real piece of music and they want to be able to play it. So you want to be able to teach it or share it with other people. And so grab your Brahms' Lullaby. And the nice part about Brahms' Lullaby is that it really does, if you can get people playing it, that's going to get them thinking about the whole rest of the program is built more or less around that same idea. And so, where is the heck is it? I'm just busy poking at it stuff. Brahms Lullaby, Brahms Lullaby, ukulele, right there. So, I love your hurricane song. It's not a hurricane season, however. The weather is no longer... Oh, I know, right? You can't tell anymore. We're having a hot day in July, and people are complaining, even though it's been hot in July every summer since I've been alive. But we're surprised now that it's hot in July. Yeah, you can't depend on anything anymore. That's a good point. Brahms, Lullaby, ukulele. There I am. All right, let's play it. Okay, and a lot of people send me an email and they say, I'm working on the tough uke on this one, and that's when you know you got them. Okay, if they can get through this one, and as you guys know, you need all of these skills going forward. So just use your thumb and then thumb down. 1, 2. Repeat. Teach people when you're showing them what you're doing how you read repeats. That probably is half of my job when I'm handing out a new arrangement, is to sit and talk to people repeatedly about how to read the repeats. And that's why I've started putting the block up there, and it is complicated, and it's just a huge amount of time goes into reading repeats. So make sure you know that if there's a bracket above a measure and it says 1, you play that the first time, and if it says 2, you play that the second time, and not play 1 the first time. But that's a great review right there. Every single piece of information there is coming up on lots of songs going forward. The C chord, right? But when you put on your ring on the second string, it doesn't feel like a C chord, but it still is. Okay? Over at measure 15, it's a G7, but the bottom string's open. Right? That will happen often. And then at 6, you don't even strum that string at all. Okay. Make sure you're teaching rest stroke to people so that they know, hey, my thumb is actually supposed to rest on that strings, and that prevents it from going off, is basically why we rest. All right, so Brahms' Lullaby is sort of one of those moments where we become maybe addicted a little bit to playing ukulele at this higher level. If you can get through Brahms' Lullaby, then it's really sort of just coasting after that. The next big important song on the list is the key of C arpeggio. I'd like to play that one. So grab your key of C arpeggio. I think in your book it's called C major. Let me find mine. All right, with this one, remember there's a repeat at the bottom of the first page. We're not going to play that now. We're just going to play through this just so we're reviewing it. But every measure, you grab whatever chord is shown up there, and then you use your claw. This is a big moment in the program where we switch from thumb down almost exclusively to playing with the claw, and it's every bit as important a way to play as with your thumb. So from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. G chord. chord, G chord, C chord, G chord, F chord, G chord, ends with a quarter note, 9, F chord, G7, another one, C chord, A minor, F chord, and G7. 2 C chords, A minor, F chord, 2 G7s. Let's ignore the repeat, go on to page 2. Okay, glissando, 3 pinky, G7, G chord with a glissando, F chord, G7, 2, 3, 4, G chord, open, 2 F chords, G7, 2, 3, 4, A minor, F, G7, C. F, G7, glissando. At the end of book 1, you know what an arpeggio is. You're not quite sure why you have to know it. By the time you get into book 3, it's going to be essential that you're good at them because that's where we start adding in all sorts of decoration, doing all sorts of fancy stuff, and having these arpeggio skills in place is where that's going to be super helpful. All right, tomorrow is Friday. By the way, I'm going to skip out on book 3 today. I got invited to go out to dinner and a movie. So I'm going to go. I haven't done that in about 2 years. Probably going to get sick and die from it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Tomorrow I'd like to cover Amazing Grace, Happy Birthday, La Cucaracha, All Through the Night, Home on the Range. All of those are essentially designed just to get you spending more time playing in the tough uke style. And so tomorrow, if you guys want to pick one, we for sure will play La Cucaracha to give us a chance to do the staccato. And then of course, going into lessons 24, 25, 26, 27, the ones we just finished up, probably Simple Gifts is another one we should cover, and Daisy Bell, because it's got the B flat in it. Okay, so those are probably the three or four songs that we'll cover tomorrow. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Evelyn, I hope that hurricane treats you kind. And yeah, it's not crazy. I think I knew there were hurricanes in Hawaii. It's just weird to think about it. They're always in the Caribbean. Guys, have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here. We're going to go in book 2 today. We are continuing our study of that Beethoven sonatina. So it's pretty challenging stuff, but definitely worth it. So come join us for that. And I will see all y'all in the next half hour, hopefully. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow to wrap up for real the total book 1 experience and graduate you into book 2. So have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here. And let's see, Q. Thanks ever so much for all you do done for us. Thanks, Q. You're very kind. You're welcome, Michelle. All right, guys. Pulling the plug. Have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.